welcome back to the channel. I'm Robbie Crager, the Flip Flop Flipper. We're in Puerto Rico here. We're actually in Carolina, Puerto Rico, the place we've called home for the last 5.5, 6 years. Listen, guys, we're gonna be going to the foreclosure sale in San Juan and the surrounding area all throughout the rest of the year. I've already done a couple of shorts on it where we've made attempts, but we haven't been successful. Today, we're driving for dollars. We're gonna look at some foreclosure properties that are coming up in the very near future. And hopefully we're gonna buy one of these things. We'll show you the process. Like and subscribe to the channel, guys. If you wanna see what we do, follow our channel. We tell you exactly what we do and how we do it. And this is what we're gonna do with the foreclosure sale. So let's go for a ride. All right, guys, so we're at our first stop here, and this thing's going up to the sale early next month. The original bid is like $125,000. Now this house is probably $150,000 to $165,000. So paying $120,000 for it's not going to be good enough. But the way that the foreclosure sale works here in Puerto Rico, which is very interesting and very different than what we're used to back in Florida, there's actually 3 chances, 3 bites at the apple. So the first sale is just basically everything that the bank is owed, all of their fees and everything. And that's what that first sale represents. It's about $125,000, $130,000 is what they'll be going to that day. If nobody buys it, and I would expect that nobody will, even though the house is very nice and in good shape and it comes with this beautiful Toyota that's been sitting there for a decade probably, we'll get a second chance a couple weeks later where they will go 2/3 of that amount. So if you take 130 times 2/3, that'll be the second bid, which will be in the mid 80s or so. And that starts to get a little bit more attractive. Mid 80s, worth 160. Maybe we could buy it at that price. So if it makes it to that second sale, this might be something that we would go and bid on. Anyways, we'll talk more about this foreclosure sale along the way. We're gonna go see several properties today, and we'll fill you in on what we're doing and how we do it. Okay, we're at our second stop. Already along the way, guys, we stopped and called on a third property. So we're checking out these properties for foreclosure, but as we're doing this driving for dollars and we're driving around, we're gonna call on everything in these neighborhoods that's for sale. So the last one that we called on, it's through Island Portfolio, and we've bought from them before, and now we're gonna get a fresh new list of things to look at. So listen, it's not just about looking at the properties that are on the list for the foreclosure sale. You wanna look at everything in the neighborhood. You can glean so much information from that. You can determine what other things are selling for, both on the retail end and when they're distressed. This is particularly important when you're going to the foreclosure sale. We wanna buy down here at the low level because it's got the distress, then fix it up, do the value add, and then sell it at the top retail price to an FHA buyer in this case. So this house behind me is going to go to the sale next month as well. It's got a pretty good price point, and we could probably buy this at the first auction, which is great. And we'll see what happens, guys, and we'll keep you posted. One thing I would say about the 2 houses that we've stopped at so far, they're locked up like tighter than a drum. I mean, so this is different than what we see in Orlando, Florida. Oftentimes in Florida, we don't have these bars on the windows and these bars on these gates on the front of the house, so we're able to get into houses. It seems like it's going to be much more difficult to actually get into houses when you're looking at things. So anyways, that's it. We'll keep going. We'll keep talking along the way. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're driving and talking. First things, get this out of the way for all you safety conscious people. Adon is driving. Notice I have no steering wheel. This isn't me driving, so hopefully we're safe. It's only a little bit distracting for the driver, Adon.
I'm holding the camera.
He's holding the camera while he drives. Notice his hand is shaking. Let's talk about the foreclosure sale and the way that it works here in Puerto Rico versus how it works where we're used to doing it for the last 25 years in Central Florida or all over the state of Florida. So some key differences. There are actually 3 sales for every time something goes to a foreclosure sale, or there are potentially 3 sales. So the first sale is going to be the full asking price from the bank. And then if it doesn't sell to someone for that price or more, a couple weeks later, it will go to a second sale. And generally the bank will reduce by 1/3. So let's do easy math. If the price is $100,000 that the bank is owed all in, that's the first sale price. And if it doesn't sell for $100,000 or more, the bank will take it back in a couple of weeks and they'll bring it back at $66,000. So 1/3 less, right? And then if that doesn't work on the second sale, it doesn't get bought, then it'll come back on the third sale a couple weeks after that, and it will sell at half. So 100,000 would turn into $50,000. So what you're wanting to do when you're looking at these properties is figure out where you're going to be a buyer. and then attend those sales. So if we're looking like the property that we looked at earlier, it's not a deal for us at the first sale. So we're not going to go attend that sale. There's no chance that we're going to buy it. So we will just try and wait and see. If nobody buys it, it'll go to a second sale. And at the second sale, maybe it starts to get interesting for us. We're going to do the research and see. Certainly by the third sale, we would be interested in the property and it would make sense for us at that point. So that's the first key takeaway for the difference between Florida foreclosure sales and Puerto Rico foreclosure sales. Florida foreclosure sales, one sale, one shot, that's it. And the bank can come in. If they are owed $100,000, the bank may decide at that first sale that they're going to take less money, and you can still get a great deal. So you have to prepare for everything on the spot for the Florida sale versus the Puerto Rico sale. The Puerto Rico sale, we're going to get actually 3 bites at the apple. So I like that about it. Here's another key takeaway for the foreclosure sales here versus there. In Florida, when we go to a foreclosure sale, at the time of the sale, so when the gavel drops, going once, going twice, 3 times sold, at that point, you have to hand over to the clerk of the court 5% of what you just bid on the property. So back to the math. If you bid $100,000 for a property in Florida, you'd need to hand over $5,000 as soon as she says third time sold. And then you would have the rest of the day to come up with all of the money. So you'd hand her $5,000, then you'd leave the sale, you'd go get the rest of the cashier's checks, and you'd come back before the end of the day, before 5 o'clock. That's generally how the sales work in Florida. And that's a difficult enough process, right? So you have to have lots of cash on hand, and you have to be ready and able to go to the bank and get all of the money should you be the winner, or you're going to lose 5%. And 5%, $5,000, that's a lot of money to lose. So now here's the difference in Puerto Rico. Going once, going twice, 3 times sold. In Puerto Rico now, you have to hand over 100% of the money that you just bid. So if you bid $100,000, you're going to hand the guy $100,000 as soon as he says sold. There's no give backs, no takeaways here. I say all the time, this is the most difficult place for people to buy real estate. And it's not the place that you want to start your real estate investing career. One, you have to be extremely well funded. And 2, you have to do all of your due diligence and research ahead of time. Guys, there's no such thing as title insurance. There's no such thing as inspections. You do what we're doing, and you see our inspections. We're showing up to these properties and they're locked up tighter than a drum. So that's it. That's what we get. We don't get to go inside these houses. We don't get to know if the lights are going to come on, or if when the water comes on, if the house is going to flood. We don't know any of that stuff. So you have to buy it at a price that makes sense, and you have to be able to figure out, just by looking at the outside of the property, what do you think it's going to take to renovate it? Anyways, the takeaway number 2 is that in Puerto Rico, you have to have 100% of the money at the time that you win the bid. So it's much more strenuous, much more difficult than it is in the States. So here's a third key takeaway for buying foreclosures. And I'll just use the state of Florida because that's what I'm really, really familiar with. At this point in the state of Florida, like 85 or 90% of the counties are online. So you can go to these auctions online. I can actually attend a foreclosure sale in Florida and buy a house there, and attend a foreclosure sale in Puerto Rico and buy a house here. And we actually did that one time. And I think it's possible that I'm the only guy who's ever done that in the same day, where we bought a house in Orlando, Florida, and we also bought a house in Carolina, Puerto Rico from the foreclosure sale, two different foreclosure sales, while I was in Puerto Rico at the foreclosure sale live. And then immediately after that, I went online and bought a house at the foreclosure sale in Orange County. So tremendous that we were able to pull that off. I'm unaware of anyone else ever doing that. If you guys know of anyone who's done that, leave me a comment. I'd like to meet that person, because I think it's pretty damn cool that we were able to do that. And I think we're going to be able to do it again someday soon. So it's a lot easier, though, for anybody to go to a foreclosure sale when it's online in Florida than it is to go to a foreclosure sale here on the island of Puerto Rico. Add to the fact that every day of the week, 5 days a week, there are foreclosure sales at multiple municipalities around the island. So, for instance, today we went to a foreclosure sale in Carolina. That sale was canceled. So we did all of that work and due diligence to try and go to buy it. And the people worked it out with the bank, and we didn't get a chance to buy it. we probably would have won that because it looked like nobody else showed up to bid. So we were likely going to be the winning bidder on that one. But unfortunately, even though it looked like everything was going our way, the clerk comes out and says, hey, the bank made a deal with the guy who was in foreclosure and it's no longer going. So they canceled that sale. We're at our third stop here on this Driving for Dollars, looking at the foreclosures that are upcoming very shortly. And here's what I want to give you as a takeaway from this. And this is why I like doing these things kind of on the go. And while we're here, we just talked to the neighbor and we got a ton of information from the neighbor. We learned that the person who owned this house, they both died. The husband and wife, they both died. We actually got the phone number to the son who now would inherit this house. It's in foreclosure and it's going imminently, like in the next week or two. So it's going to be very difficult for that person to redeem this sale. But there maybe is an opportunity that we could come in and buy the property from them, reinstate the mortgage, do something creative. You never know. So talk to everybody. Now, I will warn you that sometimes the neighbors are not going to be very friendly to you. So be careful with that. Generally speaking, the outside of the house will give you a really good idea of what the inside is going to look like. And so in this case, this isn't really any exception. This house looks to be in very, very good condition. In fact, we can probably stick the phone through that window there and film inside a little bit, and then we'll be able to see and glean some more information. So we'll go do that. We'll see, maybe we'll put that in this video as well. Let's keep going, guys. We got some more to see. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. That's what we do. That's how we do it. We're going to the foreclosure sale, and you guys should like and subscribe to the channel. If you wanna learn about this stuff, check out some of our other content. We're gonna continue to do this throughout the year where we're gonna tell you exactly what we do. We're real estate investors. In fact, we're value add real estate investors. And so you can see content on all of our projects where we show you how we renovate stuff. And we're gonna get into the nitty gritty over the next several videos where we're gonna tell you all about how we renovate properties, how we determine what prices it is gonna cost to renovate them, how we get into the comps. We're gonna get into all of that stuff in an upcoming video. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button, guys. I hope you're enjoying this content. Would love for you to send me a comment and tell me what you think of this. Do you guys want to be in the foreclosure sale business? We're always looking for partners. That's how we expand our business. Guys, God bless. We'll see you on the next one.